Okay, good evening, everybody. How are y'all doing this evening? Well, I want to say welcome and thank you for joining Marriage Gone Divorce tonight. We're looking forward to a dynamic evening, a dynamic dialogue and conversation. So I want to first say thank you for joining. If you have not subscribed, I'm going to ask that you hit the subscribe button. If you have not liked, I'm going to ask you like the video. And then in the comment section, I am going to ask that you let me know where you, just let me know where you're from, what part of the city, what part of the country, where you're from. Put it in the chat so I can see where you are from. And hey there, Francine is on live with us tonight. And whoever else is on live, we're going to ask that you go ahead and leave your info in the chat as we're giving. Make sure you share, tell a few people that we're on as we're waiting to get started. I'm gonna give it a couple more minutes before we get started. We have the ladies waiting to start. As you know, Marriage Gone Wild is a dynamic discussion with men and women who have gone through divorce. Usually in that 40 and older age is the audience that we have been talking to, but of course we talk to any and everybody that want to listen to the journey of getting through a divorce and the other side, what that is like. Alrighty. Again, put it in the chat. You can drop me some hearts. You can drop me some, let me know let me know you're there. I would greatly appreciate it. And don't forget to hit subscribe, like, and then let's share with some of your people on your social media platforms. While we're waiting, giving a couple more minutes, we got a couple more minutes, and then we're going to go ahead and get started. I'm going to remind you, don't forget to get your candy cleanse with me. Yes, candy cleanse. That's what helps keep your detox and keep you cleansed. I make those specially made with my own anointed hands. So they are available. You can go to my website at irisinspires.com and order there, or you can DM me, send me a message on all social media platforms. I am at Iris Inspires, IRIS Inspires. That's on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, and of course, YouTube. Iris Inspires TV. And don't forget to get our books. The latest is You Again. We got the special edition if you order direct from me. I have a few copies of those. Those are out of print. Not this time. And You Again, The Day I Forgot God, not this time. And You Again. That's a trilogy of a story of a woman who's coming to the understanding of who she is, and she's looking at the relationships that she's gone through. So a lot of you already have read You Again and Not This Time, and you got the last installment, The Day I Forgave God. Those are available also on my website at irisinspires.com, and or you can go to any other social media platforms, and I'm there as well. All right, let's get this party started. Y'all ready? First of all, what I would like to say is I'm going to go ahead and bring them to the stage. We have Lori James and we have Shanika Malone. And I want to say thank you, ladies, for joining this evening, taking time out of your schedule to be with us tonight. You are the reason why we do what we do. And so I appreciate the fact that you're taking time, because I know if you had a day like I had today, you had a day.
Thank you.
So thank you for that. You know, one of my trademark things that I like to do, and I've noticed, I was looking back over the previous episodes, and I realized I have not paused and asked everybody to breathe. That's my anthem. Breathe, pause, and breathe. So we're going to take a couple of breaths to get us centered into the moment and let go of what happened before we got on this live. Let go of what happened earlier today. Let go of what happened this week. We're just going to take a deep inhale through our nose and hold, and then exhale through the mouth. Oh, that felt good. I needed that. Take another one. Yes. Another deep inhale through the nose and exhale through the mouth. Yes. It's that breath that reminds us and settles us and centers us and get us back on track and focused in the moment, in right now. Because there's nothing we can do about what happened, because that moment is gone. And a lot of times that's what we, even when we look at divorce and look at the journey of divorce as what we're going to talk about, it's gone, it's happened. And so how do we now navigate through it to experience life in a different manner, a different way, right? And so with that said, I would like to introduce, um, let's see, I have my, here we go. Yeah, here we go. We have Lori James. Uh, she's here. She's a Los Angeles, California native who is the mother of three daughters and the grandmother of seven grandchildren. She is a retired human resource professional who earned a bachelor and master's degree from the California University State of Dominguez Hills. Um, Miss James is a world traveler. And let me tell you, honey, she don't let no grass grow under her feet. No. and, and the founder and CEO of Purpose Youth Foundation, a very powerful foundation. And I'm going to give her an opportunity before we leave tonight to share a little bit about that with you. She has received numerous accommodations for the humanitarian work she has done in her local community and in Africa. Lori is the co-author of what we're going to talk about tonight, Suddenly Single, Volume 2, and Land of the Storyteller. That's I haven't read that one yet. Successfully Healing West Coast edition. So I want to say welcome. Let's put our hands together. You get for Lori James this evening. And then we have Shanika Malone. She's a notary. She's a loan signing agent. She's an author and life coach. She attended Everest College, West Valley Occupational Center, and West Los Angeles College, and lives in West Hills, California. And you can get a copy of the books. Again, we're going to talk about that a little bit later on Amazon.com. But and she also has a foundation. I did not get that a part of this book, but I do know she has a business. And I'm going to give her an opportunity to talk about that as well. Okay, Shanika?
Yes.
All righty, awesome. So with that said, I have the first question for y'all tonight. Y'all ready?
Yes.
Ready?
Okay. I'm gonna let either one of you be the first to answer this. How long were you married? Let me back up. Why did you marry? How long were you married? And why did you divorce? So why did you marry? How long were you married? And why did you divorce?
You want me to go first, Shaniqua?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. So I think I married for love. I was married 29 years and I divorced due to infidelity on his part.
Okay. 29 years. She said she
29 years.
think it was for love, but we're gonna talk about that. Think it was for love because we talk
I'm
about
gonna
that
let
a
you
lot.
know.
Okay, and Shanika, how about you?
So I married because I feel it was for love, and we been knowing each other for 31 years, but we were only married for 3.5 years. And the reason why I divorced because he was abusive in multiple ways.
Okay,
Mm,
all righty,
mm.
all right, awesome.
He was a
Okay, thank you for sharing.
serial abuser.
A serial abuser.
Mhm.
Okay, with that said, how did the book Suddenly Single come about? Because both of you said you were married, you believe it was for love. So I'm gonna give you an opportunity to talk about that part of it. And then both of you knew your partners for a very long time. One was infidelity, which is a form of abuse, in my humble opinion. And then the other said multiple ways of abuse. I'm gonna give you both the opportunity to share that. So how did that experience walk you into Suddenly Single? And touch on, thought you was in love, married a long time, now you're divorced.
Okay. Well, for me, we met when I was 14 and he was 15, I believe. So I was in middle school, he was in junior high school. We lived around the corner from each other, and I was walking home from school one day and he told his friends, I'm gonna get that girl with those skinny legs. So anyway, we ended up being in a relationship, and a couple of years later, I had my first child. And then a couple of years after that, I had another child. And then years later, I had another child. But I did not marry him until after all of my children were born, because I felt like he had to get himself together first. I mean, he had asked me, and it was some things that he needed to get right first. In and out of the system was one thing.
Mhm.
Um, and there was some of what you talked about, abuse. So I'm like, no, you're not ready. You're not ready. So when
Mhm.
I felt that he was ready, he had been rehabbed and, you know, out of the system, and, and changed his ways, turned to the Lord and was into church and everything like that. I said, okay, now you're ready. So he did change, and then like I said, it went on till for 29 years. But during that 29 years, it had ended towards the end. It had ended because we were like two ships passing in the night. We
Mhm.
worked different shifts, and we hardly ever saw each other, hardly ever did anything together. So when it's like that, you kind of you know distance yourselves from each other. It's not the same. The love
Mhm.
is dwindling away at this point.
Mhm. Mhm.
So I don't want to, say too much because I want people to read
To
the
get the
book,
book, you want you
get
to get the book. Yeah.
the book.
Mhm.
But
Mhm.
yeah, there was infidelity at the end, and I'm like, I'm not putting up with this. One
Mhm.
of the things that I can say that first gave me a hint of infidelity was a barrage of pizza delivery people coming to the door. First, it would be Domino's, then Papa John, then Pizza Hut. Now, normally, when somebody would come to the door, he would like, "What do you want? What are you doing?" But when this happened, he wouldn't come to the door. And so I was
Mhm.
the one sending them away, saying, "I didn't order a pizza. I didn't order pizza." And then one time,
Mhm.
I said to him, I said, they keep coming. Do you want? He said, "Oh, just get the pizza." I said, "But it's not paid for. I don't want the pizza, and I don't even know what kind of pizza it is."
Mhm.
But it
Mhm.
just kept happening over, like back to back to back. And I said, "Is somebody, you have beef with somebody?" And he
Mhm.
said, "No." So the next thing that do you have a woman that's doing this? Of course, he's gonna say no. You know,
Mhm.
but
Mhm.
that was my first
That's
inkling
right.
that
He was in a.
it was
Okay.
real.
Okay. Awesome. All righty. That's interesting. So, without giving too much of the story, because it's a dynamic, I actually took some time out and I read both, read most of it. I definitely read both of you guys' story. Shaniqua, based on some of the things she said, you guys are similar in terms of pattern, in terms of where the gentleman was at the time when you guys. So, can you talk a little bit about that without giving it all away? Talk a little bit
So
about that. Mhm.
So my thing, we met when he was pretty young, and we dated off and on. We were like a dating
Mhm.
off and on thing, and I didn't know. I was always told growing up that whatever goes, it'll come. Love will come back. Love will find its way back. And so I was going back and forth with him for years, and I don't care who I'll be with. I would go back to him. He was my go-to. He was my main man, the man I loved,
Mhm.
the man I wanted to marry, and usually I would judge men. Oh, he got this, he looked like this, he looked like that. But him, I never judged. And I should have been
Mhm.
judging him, but I didn't judge him.
Mhm.
And eventually, I married him. Eventually, after all those years, I just said for 9 years, a 9 year gap that I
Mhm.
didn't see him. And I found out the reason why I didn't see him because he had got married to someone. He had been married for like 5 years, and then he had got incarcerated for 4 years of that nine. Because usually we'll see each other. And so
Mhm.
I found out after we had didn't see each other for so many years. That is why we had the 9 year gap of not seeing each
Mhm.
other. But
Mhm.
he was the things that I seen in him when we got married is that I never seen this behavior in him prior to that. He never disrespected me or did anything wrong to me. The minute we got married, he just kind of changed into somebody else. It was
Mhm.
very like I had did him wrong or something. I'm like, I've been a good person to you. But he just
Mhm.
started really showing his true colors on who he really was, and I was like, this is not the person that I thought he was. I just kept on telling him, like, you're not the person I thought you were. You're not the
Mhm.
person I thought you were. And so
So
that's
let me ask you this, ask both of you ladies this, because I'm hearing something here and I'm hearing a consistency even with previous interviews that I've done and talking to women and men. So let me ask you this. Hindsight is always 2020. Okay, looking back, um, did you not see or did you see and said maybe something different?
I mean, I saw little signs here and there, but not no tangible signs. I didn't see any really like solid evidence back when we were dating.
Mm-hmm.
You
Mm-hmm.
know, I probably had some little signs. I probably felt a little something, but I didn't feel nothing that was substantial for me to say, hey, this person is this, he's that. Until after we got married and I started seeing he was, being abusive towards me, he was cheating on me. He started calling me out my name. And I'm like, well, this ain't the person. I thought, you're not, I would never have held on to the love I had for him for all those years had I known who he really was.
Mm-hmm. 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 Got it.
But
Got it.
once he showed me who he was, I was able to eventually let that love that I had for him go. Because he was like a god. He was like the only man that I wanted to be with always. It didn't matter how many years we had not seen each other, been together.
Mhm.
I knew what I wanted. He was what I wanted.
He was the one. Huh?
Put a spell on you.
He was he. Oh
Yeah.
my goodness. How about you, Lori? I know you said you guys met when you were younger.
Yeah, we
But
met when, so all of the that stuff was in front of the marriage. That was
got it.
before the marriage. So, like I said, I waited till he got himself together. And then when he
Got it.
got himself together, the only thing that I was having a feeling of, suspecting that he was cheated, but I never had any proof until, once that the pizza people kept coming and coming. I had to call each and every one of them, and they, the pizza people would say, well, we're going to have to put you on the do not deliver list. I'm like, I don't care,
Mhm.
I'll just go pick it up if I want a pizza. So that
Mhm.
was
Mhm.
my first real proof, or that something was going on. So then after that, I started, getting more information. But no, our turbulent times were before the marriage, for the
Okay.
most part. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Audience, and if you have any questions you want to put in the chat and so that we can see it and you want me to ask, don't hesitate to put that in. Don't hesitate to ask the question. So what have you learned about yourself?
So
To,
for me, what I
Mhm.
learned about myself that I was loving him more than I loved myself. I
Mm,
realized, and then but it caused me to evaluate all my relationships. And so once I
that's
started
good.
evaluating all my relationships, I was able to let two other people go at that time
Mm,
when I let him go.
mhm, mhm, mhm. Awesome. That's good.
And I
Lori?
learned that I had daddy issues and that he
Mhm,
had mommy issues. My father wasn't in my life, and his mother passed when he was 12. So it was like we both were holding on to what we didn't have in our lives. So
mhm,
that's what I learned. And I know that, a lot of women have daddy issues, and it just carries on throughout your whole life
mhm.
with your
So when
father.
we don't give our space that time to heal, um,
Hmm.
to to love on ourselves, because what does that even? What does love on self? What does that mean? What does
Right.
loving self mean?
Well, that means it means self-care. It means putting yourself before others.
Mhm.
Um, yeah, it just means taking care of yourself, and
How do we
especially
do that when we are nurtured and we are
we are
taught to put
nurturers.
everything and everybody ahead of us? That is what we are taught as women, as African American women in this country, and I'm sure abroad. But we are taught to put everything and everybody ahead of ourselves. So, how do we learn to now, first of all, trust when we get an inkling? our
Mhm.
discernment, trust it, because we're
Mhm.
also told we can't trust ourselves. And then secondly, how do we learn to really begin to put self in, in the category of somebody? We got some feedback. I don't know who that or what that is, or if it's, but hope everybody can hear me okay.
Mhm.
Um, yeah. How do we begin the journey of really self love? Because that's the buzz thing now. Love self, love self. You got to self love. You got to take care of yourself. What is that? Doesn't mean go get my nails done and a pedicure. Doesn't mean go to therapy. Doesn't mean, what does that mean?
So
And it,
to me, it means going to therapy. It means setting boundaries, being assertive, um, and saying no, knowing when to say
no,
no.
it's a complete sentence, huh?
Yeah, no.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
Yes. Yes. How about you, Lori?
The same, setting boundaries. That's a big one. That's a big one because I've been and part of being a having daddy issues is people pleasing because
Mm-hmm.
that abandonment. You feel like, oh, I got to please this person so they'll stay in my life. So you got to learn how to set boundaries and think about yourself, and you got to ask yourself, is this, do I really need to do this to help this person? And is it going to benefit me in any way? And is it really necessary for me to do this to help this person? How is that helping me? And how is that taken away from me? You know, so
Was it hard to do that?
very, very much so. Very much so. Yes.
So, what are some of the things that you did to kind of give you that space and grant you that space that it's okay to say no? It's
Mhm.
okay to set a standard. It's okay that this is not for me. How did that process? How did you begin to do that after
Well,
being married 29 years? Because that's a long time.
it's a long time. Yeah. I did not go to therapy yet, but I have found an online therapy where there's a facilitator and then there's a group and everybody shares their story. So there's different topics. And by the way, the app is called Circles. If anybody wants to go on there, they have different groups. Like they might have people dealing with grief from divorce, and then everybody will go in there and share their story, and then the facilitator will give advice and stuff like that. So that's very helpful
Mhm,
for me to
mhm,
share my story, listen to other
mhm,
story, knowing that I'm not the only one going through it. So
mhm,
yeah, that helped a lot. I do a lot of journaling as well, and then just things that I love to do.
mhm,
I do
mhm,
those things, and one of them is travel.
mhm, mhm,
Yeah, so
mhm. Awesome, awesome. Yes, counseling therapy. A lot of times we think that counseling and therapy is not. We are not comfortable with it, and it is a really safe healing space. Shanika, how about yourself? What are some of the things that you have done to? And let me just say that that's a part of the reason why we have the marriage gone divorce, because we want to talk about, of course, the things that happen, but that bridge of getting through it, because it's not easy, and
So
it
what
is
I
grief.
so
Mm-hmm.
what I did, I actually I've been in therapy since 2017. I'm still in therapy. Um, I actually wrote a children's book, children's coloring book, and I wrote I created a couple of journals, and I also am in, this is probably like my fourth anthology I'm in. So what's been helping me is just to write out everything and to, so I can help others heal. That's the goal. Share
Mm-hmm.
my experience with other people so they can work on their healing journey as well.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And that makes a big difference. Writing, I know for me, that's one of the things I do is journaling, and it's very cathartic, and it will show you your patterns
Hmm.
when you see the same thing coming up and the same. It's like, okay, wait a minute, I just what's going on here, and it will cause you to pause. That's awesome. Thank you for sharing that. So
You're welcome.
how did the book? I know you said part of it because you said you were part Shaniqua, part of five. I think you said five different anthologies. How did this particular Suddenly Single? The title is very catching.
So this one was a little different because the other ones I didn't get in depth about my marriage. This is the one I actually got in depth about my marriage, about what happened. what happened, what I went through, who I thought he was, and what I realized, and how what I realized that I allowed myself to be. I knew how to take accountability. I couldn't put everything on him. So in this book, I am taking accountability on what I allowed him to do to me. I didn't put the
Mhm.
whole blame on him because no one can do anything to us unless we allow them to. And so that's basically what I put in the book is what I realized who he was, what I needed to do, and how can I move past that? What did I the steps I needed to take to move past it?
Mhm. Mhm. Mhm.
Mhm.
Awesome. Okay, Lori. Well, let me before Lori,
Venus,
before you
are you
say yours.
asking? I'm wondering. Are you
Mhm.
asking how did we even come to write in the anthology? Is that what you're
Yes, that's
asking?
what I'm asking you. Yes.
Okay.
Okay. Okay. So Venus Chandler, who's a friend of mine, she is the one who started this movement, Suddenly Single, right? So
Mhm.
she's the one who started the first volume. And after the first volume, she had a like book signing or Q&A with all the people in the anthology, and everybody presented their story and answered questions and everything like that. So I went to the event and I said, "Well, Venus, I'm going through a divorce." she said, she said, "Oh, you are? Well, we have a Suddenly Single Volume 2. Would you like to be in it?" I said, "Sure." you know.
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
that's how that came about for me.
Mhm. Mhm. Okay. Okay. All righty. Sounds good. And so, very similar to you as well. Is that what you're saying, Shaniqua?
So mine came about is how me and Venus are friends on Facebook, and she posted on there that she was having a volume two second edition, and I applied through her through Facebook.
Okay.
That was how.
Okay.
Mhm.
Shanika, you said something that I want to touch on because you mentioned that taking responsibility for your action, your part in it, and so that sometimes is very difficult to. Particularly when you're in an abusive relationship, um, be it that you're dealing with a narcissist, physical abuse, financial abuse, emotional abuse, the whole thing. How how is it that I'm asking this in a way because this has come up before? How do you take responsibility for the behavior of someone who is abusing you?
So I didn't take so my I wasn't taking wasn't taking responsibility for his behavior, but I was taking responsibilities for allowing him to continue to to bleed on me, to put his pain on me.
Good, good. Mm-hmm,
So when
mm-hmm,
I should have, when I saw him bleeding on me and started bleeding on me, I should have made a quick exit, and I kind of didn't exit quickly as I should have. That's one of my kind of regret is I should have exited a little bit faster than what I did, and I
mm-hmm.
didn't.
So have you dealt with and I got that. That was good. So is it a part of the reason you didn't is because you what felt you didn't have anywhere to go? And I'm
No,
asking these questions for the person that may hear this and is in
no,
that situation. Okay.
no.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't because I didn't feel like I had nowhere to go. It was that I didn't. I loved him more than I loved me. It
Ah,
comes down to me. I pondered this for a while and kept on saying, "Why did you stay in that? Why did you stay in that?" And the only thing I can come up with is that I loved him more than I love myself.
okay. Self-esteem and
I put him
self-worth.
first.
Got it. Got it.
Mhm.
That's good. Self-esteem and self-worth. So it had nothing to do with whether you could get out. It was just that he was more important than you. And you sometimes what happens, ladies and gentlemen, is I know from we see in another person, right, what they don't see, or we have some glimmer of hope of something that whatever it is that we think we see, and that's another reason why we say because we keep hope alive.
Mhm. Yeah,
We keep
we
hope
do.
alive, hoping it, yeah. And then when it's all settled, said and done, it says heal self so you don't attract brokenness. I think I read that. I think that was you, Shaniqua. Was that you?
Yeah.
Heal self so you don't attract brokenness. Can you expand on that a little bit?
So what I meant by that is like you have to go within. You have to dig deep and get into the root cause of who you are and what your childhood trauma or whatever you've been through. And once you dig deep and you work on your healing, then you're not going to allow anyone to mistreat you because you already know who you are, and
Mhm.
you become whole. You're not broken anymore once you start working on yourself. Once you reflect on your past, and what you've been through. And so I
Mhm.
saw domestic violence in my home. I grew up. My
Mhm.
father was abusive when I was at the age of 7. So
Mhm.
I witnessed domestic violence. So usually, a lot of times when you allow things like this to happen to you, it's because you have witnessed it. A lot of
Mhm.
people don't know that when you witness stuff trauma like that, that you can be the victim as well.
Mhm. Mhm. Awesome. That's
Absolutely.
good. Yeah, absolutely.
Absolutely.
You
And,
want
and
to expand on it?
I just wanted to say that if you don't heal, you will attract the same spirit in a different body
Hmm.
over
Yes.
and over and
Over
over
and over
again.
again.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So you have to heal yourself. You have
Yes.
to. Or are you just going to get the same thing?
Yes.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Mhm. And so that leads us right into this next part. Um, so dating, or the desire to date or marry again. Is that there on the tables for you guys?
So I
For
have
you
been
ladies?
dating for the last 7 years with one person, and I'm open to get married again.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And same for me. I'm on a dating app and I've been on several dates and boy, it's crazy out there.
You see why some folks stay?
So, but I am open to getting married again.
Yes. Okay. All
Yeah.
right. So as it pertains to, so it when if we attract what how do you identify the red flag? So when things come up and you're not confusing it, sometimes people will say that what happens is because you have been in situations of trauma, you have a tendency to not give room and space for relationships to enter your life, right? And so how do you navigate the emotions around the experiences you've already had so it doesn't bleed into your current?
Well, for me, I find myself being more rigid with red flags. It's like, nope, nope, blocking, blocking. No, that's a red flag. I'm
Mhm,
out.
mhm, mhm,
So I've heard that, once you've been married and the second time around, you don't take as much as you would,
mhm,
because you've been
mhm,
through it and you see it in the other person and you're like, I'm not dealing with that. So that's
mhm,
what and then I follow a lot of love coaches on social
mm,
media. So they're saying, well, they're saying don't be so fast to block. They said don't block within the first 2 weeks. Give them a chance because it's like you're expecting too much. So just give them a chance to see if there's other things, or maybe you can work through whatever that was. So yeah, but I'm tougher now. It's like nope, bye.
yeah. I don't have time for it. I done got too old for this.
Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah. How about you, Shaniqua?
And so mine is kind of similar to what Lori said as well too. But what I realized is that a lot of time women are opening their legs up really fast. And I'm saying like you need to wait at least 6 months to get to know the person, because within the 6 months you realize if you want to be with them or not, and they tend to get comfortable with you.
Right.
And
And
so
their
once they
true
get comfortable
colors
with
will
you,
come out by then.
they're gonna be able to tell you who they are, and you have to be
Mhm,
aware and listening to who they are, so
mhm,
that way you don't get caught up into having sex with them thinking that they're somebody that they're not. And that's
Hmm.
where a
mm,
lot of times I've got caught up in, and I've learned my lessons from. So that is my word of
mhm,
encouragement to anyone: do not open your
mhm,
legs up to nobody until you get to know them enough.
Right. And by
mhm,
that time, their true colors will come out.
Yeah. Hmm.
Yeah,
mhm,
for sure.
mhm. 6 months. Mhm. I agree. I don't think it takes that long. Personally, I think that my personal opinion, but y'all didn't ask, is that no,
No, we
is
want to
that
know.
you usually can see. I think you can know in 30 to 45 days, personally, if not before. I think that a
Yeah.
person shows you who they are, but many times what happens is we by nature give the benefit of the doubt, and we'll say, well, maybe that's me overreacting, or maybe it was a bad day, Or maybe they didn't mean that. Or maybe, and I like the old school advice of Maya Angelou. Y'all know what she said?
Yes.
Believe them the first time.
Oh yeah.
Okay. All right, believe them the first time. Awesome. This is really good. So what would you tell your younger self?
I would tell my younger self to be selective. Don't get caught on the very first one. You know, be selective. Date different people and see which one you like, you're compatible with, that treats you right.
Mhm,
And treat you how
mhm,
you want to be treated.
mhm,
That's what I
mhm,
would say. And don't rush. Don't rush. You got time.
mhm,
Yeah.
mhm, mhm. I agree. Something must have happened with Shanika, so hopefully she'll be back. So, what would you like to leave our listening audience with, as well as, yeah, what would you like to leave our listening audience with?
I just like to leave the listening audience with, don't give up on love. If you're in a bad situation and you're not happy, get out and find new love. I mean, there's so many billions of people in this on this earth. So there's
Mhm,
someone else for you. And
mhm,
just be happy. Be happy.
mhm,
Enjoy your life. If you don't want to get married again, enjoy dating and being
mhm,
single. And if you
mhm,
do, seek that. But just be in love, with love and love.
mm, mm, mm. Yes, yes. Let me ask you, I didn't ask you this before I even asked you that. What would you say about the divorce process? What kind of wisdom could you leave the audience about the divorce process?
Okay, so my divorce wasn't really one of those, where what was it, War of the Roses or something like
Uh,
that. It wasn't really like that. The only thing that was an issue is I immediately put the house up for sale. I
mhm,
immediately put the house up for sale, and then when the house, after going through three prospective buyer, I mean, well, two, the third one finally was able to buy the house,
mhm,
and then to move, and we both bought separate homes and still not be divorced. So I had to sign off an interspousal deed that
mhm,
I had no rights to his house, and he had to sign one. But meanwhile, he has my address and I have his address, you know.
mhm,
So,
mhm,
but other than that, so we actually sold our house in July of
mhm,
2022, and the divorce wasn't final until March of 2023. So
mhm,
well, everybody might not have the same thought, but I
mhm,
wasn't looking at another man, dating, having sex, none of that until my divorce was final. Because if I divorced you for infidelity, and even though we're not divorced yet, and I turn around and do the same thing, I'm the biggest hypocrite that walked the face of the earth.
mhm,
So I
mhm,
did not think about another man until that I got that paper. Okay.
mhm, mhm. Okay.
So a
All
lot of
right.
people,
Thank you.
I just want to say a
Mhm,
lot of people think because they're separated, because I've been on
mhm,
dates with men. Oh,
mhm.
I haven't talked to my wife in 5 years. We're separated.
I
You're still
agree.
married. You're still
You're still
married.
married. Mhm. I agree. I agree with you wholeheartedly. I mean, in terms of you still married, and then it's about belief systems as well, because you do have some who have differing belief system, and that's a whole nother subject. But I agree with you in that. That's something definitely to think about. Shaniqua, let me ask you now, what would you tell your younger self? And you might want to answer the divorce process. Any wisdom you want to leave regarding the divorce process?
I would tell my younger self to work on my self esteem and self worth and heal myself before I date anyone. That's what I
Mhm,
would tell my younger self.
mhm.
And what was the other question? I apologize.
Divorce. That's okay. Divorce wisdom. Any about the divorce process? Any wisdom you would like to leave?
For the divorce process, I would just say to make sure that you have all your documents in order and for you to know what court building that you have to go to file. Because I had to go to two different court buildings. I had to go to one, and they said, "Oh no, you don't go to this one. You go to that one." And so I had to end up taking off from work, leaving that one, and going to another court building. So I would definitely tell you, make
Oh,
sure you do all your homework before you go file.
Yeah.
all right,
Well,
that's
let
awesome.
me just say this on that note. Like I said, mine went smoothly. I never once went to court. He never once went to court. We got this Beverly Hills law. I got this Beverly Hills lawyer. Never once went to court. He did everything, but it cost
Oh
a pretty
wow.
penny. You
I was
know,
like, you paid for that, don't know.
pay for that. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, you pay for that, and
Yeah.
I guess that's what I know. A lot of people talk about the fact that divorce is expensive, and so if you can do it and come to an agreement without attorneys, that's not always the case. But I know I will say after what I have been through, if you can do it. But if you get attorney involved, make sure you do your due diligence on the attorney
Right.
because you can get in situations that will leave you in some rope dopes, as they
Oh
will
my
say.
goodness.
Yeah, leave you in
Mhm.
some serious rope dopes. So, Shaniqua, let me ask you also this: what would you like to leave with the a listening audience,
As far as the divorce, or just as far as the relationship in general?
just in general, either or, divorce in general? But if it was one thing you could share with the audience right now, what would you tell them?
I would just tell them just to make sure that they do their homework before they. I mean, do their homework before they marry someone. Don't just marry quick. Um, to make sure that you get to know the person. And get to know their childhood. That's the main thing. When you get to know their childhood, you know their trauma, and when you know their trauma, you know who they are.
I
Especially
like
if they
that.
haven't went to
Repeat
therapy and
that. I
healed.
want you to. I'm gonna put that one right. That was good. Get to that one right there. That right there.
Get to know their childhood traumas because that tells you who they are, especially if they haven't went to therapy and healed.
Mhm.
That's
I
important.
So
agree.
true. That is
That's
so
very
true.
important. Because that um
Childhood trauma lasts your lifetime if you don't get healed.
if
Yes.
you don't get healed, that mama fracture and daddy fracture that is not healed and dealt with, it will show up
Yes.
in your relationships. It will show up. That was good. That was good. Okay, ladies, I'm going to say thank you again. How about you tell us a little bit about your work you do, how they can find you on social media?
You talking about me?
Yes, you can
Shaniqua?
go ahead.
Okay, so what I
Yes.
do, I'm a serial entrepreneur. Um, I'm a certified life coach on the side. I have a LLC called Men in the Broken Pieces, and my goal is to open up two domestic violence shelters. I am domestic violence certified to help women who's been through domestic violence, and my regular job is I'm a notary loan signing agent
Okay.
and an
Okay.
author.
Awesome. Okay. Author, notary, and how can we find you on social media?
So on Instagram, I have two pages. One is called Men in the Broken Pieces, and I spell Peaces. And then
Hmm.
I have Shaniqua Malone, the author. That's another page I have on Instagram, and on Facebook I have Shaniqua Malone.
Hmm.
And so
Okay.
that's how you
So
can find me.
I'm gonna put Shaniqua. Girl, you gotta help me here.
Yes,
Let's see. Shaniqua Malone on all of the. That's right.
yes, Shaniqua Malone. That's on
Okay.
Facebook.
Yes.
Okay. That's on Facebook. And what's on Instagram?
Men in the Broken Pieces, which is spelled the pieces is spelled Peaces.
Okay. P. Okay. So what we're gonna do is just find her on Facebook. You have a website,
Yes, www.meninthebrokenpieces.com.
girl. Honey, put it in the chat. She gonna send it to me. She's gonna
Oh,
send it to me, and then I'm gonna add it. to the post, so they will be able to.
Okay.
You said some other books. You want to mention your other books as well?
So I do have a children's book called Chocolate Angel Meets the
Mhm,
World, and a coloring book that also goes with it. That's on Amazon. And then I have a journal called Men of the Broken Pieces Journal, and then I have another journal called Confidence, Emotional Confidence on Amazon. And then the rest of the books are anthologies.
okay, awesome. Thank you so much for coming in and giving us uh, your time here. We have Edward Robinson that says, "Good luck, ladies."
Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you,
you.
thank you, thank you. Go ahead, Miss Lori James. You want to share a little bit about yourself in
Okay.
terms of how to find you, and I'll also put your stuff in the post as well.
Okay. Well, I'm Lori James on Facebook and Lori Blue Diva on Instagram. But I have a nonprofit, Purpose Youth Foundation. So it's Purpose Youth Foundation on Instagram and Facebook, and where else am I? X, and and it has a YouTube page.
Hmm.
Purpose Youth Foundation is a mentoring work and development for teenage girls, because those were my most turbulent years between 13 and 19. Woo!
Mm.
So I love to pour into these young ladies the things that nobody ever poured into me or never shared with me. And I went through bullying, so I have workshops in bullying and self-esteem and hygiene. And one of the big hygiene things we do is menstrual hygiene.
Hmm.
So I go to Africa every March during Women's History Month, and I speak at schools from elementary all the way up to the university level about purpose. But I also donate hygiene products and school supplies. So that is, just such a joy, especially to go to Africa. I go to Ghana specifically. And those young ladies there are so grateful and honored to receive the knowledge and the hygiene products and donations. So Purpose Youth Foundation also has a drill team, and you know, we're usually in the Orange County Black History Parade in February, and the King Parade. And what else do we do? The mentoring, the Africa trip, and the parade. So that's what we do. And my goal is to take I have taken young ladies to Africa, but they were like in their 20s, early 20s. But I want to take, my goal is to take a group of young ladies between the ages of 14 and 19 to Ghana.
Hmm. Hmm. Okay, awesome. Thank you. Thank you. So, as you see, these women are about their business, and they have found um, purpose. I think I read in both of you guys in sections you talked about finding purpose, or letting that pain and the disappointment and the fuel your present and your future to make a difference in the lives of others. So I want to say thank you again. I think this has been an awesome conversation and dialogue. I'm going to put up that again. It's called Suddenly Single Volume 2. It is at the movement. It is available on Amazon.com. It is available Kindle and paperback. I have the Kindle version. And I'll excuse me, make sure you guys can see the cover on it. Um, and just thank you. Much success to your future, to the things that you put in your hands to do. And I look forward to having you come back again. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Especially
Thank
when
you.
yes, thank you, thank you, thank you. Oh, look at this. This has been an amazing episode. That's from my sunshine.
Oh, hello.
Okay, so thank you, ladies. Enjoy your evening. And by the way, I'm going to be on Patreon tonight, and we're going to be talking about some of the things that they've covered tonight. And I'm not asking you, I'm not saying you have to come there because I get it. You got things to do, but I want to kind of expand and talk more about some of the things. So you guys can join me over in Patreon tonight, live, and that's at Iris Inspires. Again, that's Iris Inspires. Okay, thank you. Good night, and I will see you
Okay.
guys
Thank you
next
so
time.
much for having us.
Thank you. Thank you for being here. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to say thank you for coming. Thank you. I want to appreciate you because it is because of you that we do shows like this. It is because of you that we want you to know that, number one, you're not by yourself. You're not the only person that has gone through the difficulties, the pain, the discomfort that you may be experiencing and walking through right now. There are men and women that has gotten through to the other side, be it abuse or be it just that, as Lori said, that the ship was sailing in two different directions. It was time to say, it was time to go into your separate paths and allow yourself that time and that space to heal, to heal, to heal. It is okay. Healing may show up differently. But healing is a necessity. Is important that we heal the mother fractures, the father fractures. I was sharing with my son as we were talking about some things, and I shared with him. I said, "What happens is adults, we don't take the time to get to heal ourselves, right? We don't take that time to heal ourselves. So we unite, and then after we unite, we have children, and then and then our children experience the pain and discomfort that we have. And so, how important it is for you to stop, pause, and get clear about who you are, where you're going, your standards, what you like, what you don't like, what you know. Be authentic about it. Tell the truth about it. All righty. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for joining us. Share, like. Make sure you hit the like button. I didn't see too many likes. Make sure you hit the like button. Make sure you share and tell your friends about Marriage Gone Divorce. We'll see you next week. Peace and blessings.